Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my MLB DraftKings picks for Friday, July 21st. We got a really big slate on this Friday, 14-game slate. We have a ton of pitching options today. Got a lot of guys up top, a lot of studs today. Also got some good mid-range options as well that you can pair with those studs. So I definitely think you're going to be paying up for your pitchers today, paying up for at least one. There are a lot of good bats that are in good spots, and they're very cheap, very affordable. So I think it makes paying up for your pitcher pretty easy today. That's the route that I'm going to be taking. Looking to pay up for one of my pitchers, then going towards the mid-range, and then sort of fitting in some balance or some value bats, making more of a balanced lineup, a balanced approach. That's the way that I'm going to be looking to attack this slate. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so just looking at pitcher, up top you got four studs today, four guys over 10K. You got Chris Sale, Max Scherzer, Alex Wood, and Darvish. I think out of these four guys, I think all of them are in play for cash games, except Max Scherzer. I don't think Max is the cash play today. If you're playing cash games, Max would be the guy that I would mark out. Just going into Arizona, that ballpark is so hitter-friendly. With JD Martinez in that Diamondbacks lineup now, that lineup is very scary. They're 1 through 6. You got Pollock, Peralta, Goldschmidt, Jake Lamb, JD Martinez, Chris Owings. Like, that lineup is stacked. So I don't think that Scherzer's the guy that I'm going to be looking towards for cash. I think Sale, Wood, and Darvish are your three guys that you want to look for cash games. Now for GPPs, all four of these guys are in play. All of them have crazy upside, especially Max. He could go out and strike 10 batters anytime. But I would say out of the four, the one that's most likely to have the worst game would probably be Scherzer. So he's going to be the guy that I definitely mark out of those four. But looking at those top pitchers, I think one guy that stands out for me is just being too cheap, and it is a great matchup. Is Darvish at 10,600, getting a matchup against the Rays. Darvish just stands out to me as being too cheap at 10.6. I love the discount that you're getting on him off of Sale and off of Alex Wood. Darvish definitely has the upside to keep up with those guys. If you just look at the matchup, it's a great strikeout matchup. The Rays are striking out fourth most in the league versus righties. They strike out 24.3% of the time. Now, offensively, this team is pretty good against righties. So far this year, they're hitting a 263 average and a 335 WOBA, which is pretty good. Playing in Tampa Bay, that ballpark is very pitcher-friendly, so that will definitely help Darvish out. And if you just look at the Vegas totals, the Rays, obviously, they have a very low total today. So Vegas is expecting Darvish to have a solid game here. Right now, the Rays are only implied to score 3.7 runs, which is very low. So Vegas is agreeing that Darvish is going to do solid here. And if you also look at past history, Darvish has pitched very well against this team in the past. It's not really a big sample size. The Rays have seen 41 at-bats against Darvish, so I would imagine that's about 2 games that Darvish has pitched against the Rays. But in those 2 games, in those 41 at-bats, the Rays have only got 7 hits against Darvish, so they're only hitting 171 against him, and the amount of those 41 at-bats that they have seen Darvish. And in those 41 at-bats, Darvish has 13 strikeouts, which is close to a 30% strikeout rate. I think that's about a 30% strikeout rate. So in the time that he has seen this team, he has struck them out a ton. And we know Darvish has great strikeout stuff. So I think he's very safe today. Definitely consider him for cash games. Point per dollar, he stands out as the top play in my opinion at just 10,600. And then for tournaments, he definitely has upside here. He could get 10 plus strikeouts in this matchup. The Rays do strike out a ton versus right-handed pitchers. So I absolutely love Darvish today as my SP1. Definitely think he's the best point per dollar option out of those 4 studs. So I'm going to be locking in Darvish today as my SP1 at 10,600. And since we did pay up for Darvish, but we didn't go to the top for Sale or Wood, we do have a little bit of salary to work with. So I'm going to be looking towards the mid-range, towards the 8K price range. I really like Nola today as my SP2 at 8,400. Nola is another guy that's in a great spot to get some strikeouts. The Brewers, they're another team that strikes out a ton versus right-handed pitchers. So far this year, the Brewers are striking out 3rd most in the league versus righties, striking out 25.1% of the time. And offensively, this team does hit righties pretty well. They're hitting a 252 average versus righties and a 328 WOBA, which is pretty scary. But one thing that Nola does struggle with is lefties. That's usually what really kills him is the lefty bats. But if you just look at the Brewers lineup right now, their projected lineup, they're only implied to have 3 lefties in their lineup, VR, Thames, and Shaw. I think if Nola can get through those three guys, I would say VR probably wouldn't have to worry about VR. He's not really that good of a hitter. But if Nola can get through Thames and Shaw, I definitely think he's going to have a great game here. Nola is dominant versus righties, but lefties he does struggle a little bit versus lefties. So Thames and Shaw do worry me here, but I still think Nola's in a great spot here. Vegas is expecting Nola to pitch well. The Brewers right now are only implied to score 3.9 runs, which is pretty low. Nola is also a decent favorite at -140, so he's in a good spot here. He's been pitching very well as of late. In his last 4 games, he's put up 28, 32, 28, and 18 DraftKings points, so he's been very solid. And he did just pitch against this team in his last game. He pitched in Milwaukee, finished with 18 DraftKings points, pitched 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, allowed 2 runs, got 7 strikeouts. So the last time that he faced Milwaukee, he got the strikeouts. And I think he's definitely going to be able to get some Ks here. So I really like Aaron Nola today as my SP2. Definitely think you can consider him for cash games because he is safe. And he does have upside as well for GPPs. He could definitely get close to 10 strikeouts in this spot. So I really like Aaron Nola today as my SP2 at 8,400. When you plug in Darvish and Nola as your 2 pitchers, that still leaves you close to 3,900 remaining per player. So I definitely like going with this combo, going with Darvish and Nola. Those are 2 guys that have good upside. They're definitely safe as well. So I really like this combo. Still leaves you some good salary to work with as well. So these are the 2 pitchers that I'm going to be looking to build around today. And then for my 3 bats to finish off my 5, the first guy that I like is going to be at second base, a value play I like here. A guy that I think is just too cheap, stands out as being too cheap, and that's Josh Harrison at just 3,700, getting a matchup against Jeff Hoffman in Coors Field. I definitely think Harrison is too cheap today. He didn't even get a price increase playing in Coors Field. Most of the time when guys go to Coors, they do get price increases, but Harrison, his price just stayed the same. If you look in his last game, he was actually 3,800 in his last game, and his price actually decreased going to Coors Field, which doesn't make much sense at all. So I think Josh Harrison is a great value play today. He's actually been hitting the ball very well as of late. In his last 2 games, he's put up 16 and 13 DraftKings points, so he has been starting to heat up. And he is definitely in a good spot here. Jeff Hoffman is a relatively good pitcher, but at home, Hoffman really struggles in Coors Field, understandably, because that ballpark is just so hitter-friendly. And Hoffman is also a guy that has reverse splits as well. He has struggled. He's done worse against righties this year than he has lefties. So far this year versus righties, he's given up a 336 WOBA. And then at home versus righties in Coors Field, he's given up a 368 WOBA. Hoffman is another guy, doesn't really struggle with home runs, but at home he does give up a little bit more home runs. He's given up a 1.23 home run per 9 so far this year at home. But hard contact, Hoffman has been getting hit very hard this year. Versus righties, he's given up a 40.9% medium contact and 36.4% hard contact. So Hoffman is definitely a guy that we can pick on today. The Pirates do have a pretty high team total right now, obviously playing in Coors Field. They're implied to score 5.3 runs, which is very high. So I like these Pirates bats. You can definitely take some of them as one-offs or stack them up. A lot of them didn't really get price increases. Starling Marte, he's only 4.3. Like I said, Harrison's only 3.7. McCutcheon's still too cheap at just 4.6. Josh Bell's only 3.9. So a lot of these Pirates bats didn't even get price increases. So definitely consider them if you're looking for some value. You wouldn't think that Coors Field bats would be value, but these guys are very cheap today. So get some exposure to that offense, especially if you're paying up for pitcher. You're going to need some value bats. Definitely look towards that game. Look towards the Pirates side. They have some really cheap hitters in that lineup. So I'm going to be looking to get some exposure to their offense with Josh Harrison at 3,700. And then my final 2 plays, we're going to be going to the outfield. 2 value plays I like here, 2 guys under 4K. So the first guy that I like is Christian Yelich at just 3,700, getting a matchup against Homer Bailey. I think Christian Yelich is just too cheap today, getting this matchup against Bailey. He's going to be the Miami Marlins. They're going to be traveling to Cincinnati, to the Great American Ballpark, a very hitter-friendly park. So this team's going to be getting a huge park upgrade. Traveling from Marlins Park, one of the worst hitters parks, to Cincinnati, one of the best hitters parks. The Marlins are in a great spot here, and getting the matchup against Homer Bailey. Homer Bailey, this dude's just not good. He is pretty much terrible. He is an absolute gas can, so we can definitely pick on him today with some of these Marlins bats. I'm going to be looking to get some exposure to that offense with Christian Yelich. But like I said, with Homer Bailey, this dude's just not good. So far this year versus lefties, he's given up a 4.02 WOBA. And then home runs, this dude's also been giving up a ton of home runs to lefties and righties. A 2.25 home run per 9 to lefties and a 2.89 to righties. And then hard contact, Bailey has been getting hit pretty hard versus lefties as well. A 51.3% medium contact and 35.9% hard contact to lefties. So these Marlins bats are in great spots today, and they're relatively cheap as well besides Stanton. So look to get some exposure to that offense as well if you need value. So I'm going to be getting some exposure with Christian Yelich at just 3,700. Love this matchup for him, and I love the price tag as well. So I like Christian Yelich today for value at outfield at just 3,700. And then my final play, another guy that I absolutely love today, a guy that's just been absolutely killing it as of late, is Nick Williams at 3,500, getting the matchup against Matt Garza. If you just look at Nick Williams the last 4 games, this dude's been absolutely killing it. In his last 4, he's put up 23, 14, 19, and 26 DraftKings points. This dude's just been on an absolute tear. And he gets another great matchup today against Matt Garza. Matt Garza is a guy that does struggle against lefties. He's been getting hit very hard versus lefties this year. So far this year versus lefties, he's given up a 52.5% medium contact rate and a 33.6% hard contact rate to lefties. So this is a great spot for Nick Williams. The Phillies do have a relatively high team total. Right now as I'm recording this video, their team total is at 4.7 runs. So this is another team that you can look to get for some value bats. Pretty much all their hitters are cheap. Every single one of them is under 4K. Hernandez is only 3.3. Galvis is only 3.5. I really like him if you need a cheap shortstop. Franco, 3.4. So look to the Phillies as well for some value bats. Matt Garza is just not a good pitcher. He doesn't strike anybody out, and he gives up a lot of hard contact. So I absolutely love Nick Williams today. This dude's just been on an absolute tear lately. Nobody's really been talking about him, but he's just been killing it as of late. So I like Nick Williams today for more outfield value at just 3,500. And yeah, so these are my 5 plays for tonight, guys. I went with Darvish, Aaron Nola, Josh Harrison, Christian Yelich, and Nick Williams. When you plug these 5 guys in your lineup, that still leaves you an average of over 4K remaining per player. So you have some really good salary to work with. You can build a lineup around this 5 and plug in some plays around this 5. Or if you want to get my full lineups, then be sure to follow me on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. My lineups are $5 a day, or you can get a week of lineups for $25. So just message me on Twitter if you are interested in that. Or if you just have any questions about the slate or need to ask me something, you can contact me on Twitter as well at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. If this is your first time on my channel, please be sure to subscribe. I do upload these videos pretty much every day, so I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe. And if you never want to miss out on any videos, if you scroll down to where the subscribe button is, there is a bell icon. If you click that little bell icon, that'll notify you every time I upload. So be sure to do that as well if you never want to miss out on any videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.